What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report for Tuesday, June 7th. So we have a bunch of stuff that we need to get to today because the Mexican president actually snubbed President Biden and the United States. I want to address what's going on there and how this is potentially going to affect us moving forward. We're also going to talk about how one senator is suggesting to stop student loan cancellation. Do not do that. And instead suggest either a 2-year child tax credit payment extension or let's address climate change. That's what he is proposing. And guess what? This is a Democratic senator. So that's big news there. We're also going to talk about how gas prices are expected to run hot throughout the rest of the summer. But this is not because oil prices are up at around $120 a barrel. This is because of refineries. So I will address what's going on there as well. All you gotta do, just stick around for this entire video. And one thing that I ask, just spend 2 seconds, go ahead and hit that like button as it really does help out the channel. Now, let's get right down to it. One of the big worries that people have all across the world is that oil prices are still elevated. Again, currently they're about $120 a barrel. But what you need to understand is that oil prices are only affected by about 50%, or really gas prices are only impacted by about 50% of oil. The rest is due to refineries. That's the big difference. Now, as of right now, there are still many refineries that are closed down, and it's hurting the world, not just us here in the United States, but the world. It's causing a huge problem. Well, due to this, we have seen less refining capacity, which means we cannot produce as much. Again, keep in mind that when you look at a barrel of oil, it's not 100% of that goes to gas. Okay, like for our cars. Some goes to jet fuel, some goes to diesel, right? That's the way it's refined. But the fact that existing refineries are operating at near maximum capacity, this makes it difficult to ramp up production because refineries, there are still some around the world that are still closed down because of the past 2 years, because of production issues, worker shortages. There's a bunch of issues here. But as a result of what's happening all across the world, here in the US, we are now seeing a national average for a gallon of gas at $4.91 a gallon. This has actually increased, okay, by 5 cents since yesterday, when it was $4.86. It's increased by, 29 cents since 1 week ago. And it's increased by 61 cents from 1 month ago. That's what we're seeing. But what's so frustrating to the American people about all this, honestly, is that President Biden has said for time and time again, don't worry, the Biden administration is looking into ways to cut costs to the American people. But here's the thing, looking into ways and actually doing something, two different things. And we've only seen, hey, we're looking into it, but not we're taking action. Yes, taking some of our supply from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that helped a little bit. It helped for about 2 weeks, but then it stopped and prices just soared back up. So, not the greatest news there. Now, one thing is for sure, when it comes to President Biden, honestly, he's not doing very well when it comes to popularity. I think we can all agree on this. Not only have 75% of Americans said that they don't think he's done a good job with inflation, but more and more world leaders are fighting against him. Just take the Mexican president, for example, who is actually going to skip the Americas Summit as a result of excluding governments such as Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. And even though the Mexican president won't attend the summit, he's going to visit President Biden later on in July. But what's interesting about this is that many world leaders are not seeing eye to eye with President Biden anymore. They just aren't. Some never did, but some that did in the past are now seeing that no, He's changing. But this is what we have been seeing. President Biden is doing certain things that are hurting his popularity. We've seen this, right? What's interesting about what President Biden is doing is that he's still willing to, do certain things for some countries, right? He's still willing to provide for certain countries or have discussions or take Venezuela, for example. The Venezuelan president, he's under indictment by our Justice Department. But even though he's under indictment, President Biden is still willing to meet with him to talk. Interesting. So he won't allow him to attend the summit, but again, President Biden is going to do what is convenient for him. And this is what has many people here in the United States so frustrated, is that he is going to do certain things for certain people because it fits his agenda. And again, we see this all the time with presidents, but that's the problem, is he goes, to one extreme and then he'll go to the other. And that's what's frustrating to the American people. Now, I want to address one other thing that President Biden has his hands in, and that is student loan forgiveness of up to $10,000. What we have heard over the past really 6 months to a year is that all Democrats are absolutely for student loan forgiveness. But now that it's close to happening, some are actually coming out against it. For instance, what we know is that Senator Michael Bennet, he has said that student loan forgiveness needs to be tied with initiatives to fix a broken lending system. This is exactly what Republicans have said all along. They said, we can't just forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt and expect that this issue won't ever come up again. If the problem isn't fixed, then student loan forgiveness is just a temporary solution to an even greater problem. And Senator Bennet had this to say. He said, and I quote, Americans deserve more than just student debt relief. Across-the-board cancellation of college debt does nothing to address the absurd costs of college or fix our broken student loan program. He also went on and added, it offers nothing to Americans who paid off their college debts or those who chose a lower price college to go to as a way of avoiding going into debt or taking on debt. It ignores the majority of Americans who never went to college, some of whom have debts that are just as staggering and just as unfair. So even though you didn't go to college and you have debts, maybe it's on a credit card. Maybe you didn't go to college, but you did some type of other education. You can go on to anywhere online. Well, I won't say anywhere, but many different websites online. You can take online courses. Pay with a credit card, pay with a debit card, take a course. Guess what? You could still be, helping out our economy. You can still be a great member of society, but you didn't go to college. You took an online education course. And maybe you're going to do better than people that went to college. But guess what? Your debts are not going to be wiped away. But Senator Bennet suggested that the $200 billion that would go towards student loan cancellation, and it's actually about $232 billion, but this would be better used for a 2-year extension of the monthly child tax credit payments, or even use the $200 billion as a way to combat climate change. This is his suggestion. Keep in mind, he's a Democrat. So there is some pushback from Democrats that no, we cannot just provide up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. There has to be something greater that's coming with this. So we could get some pushback. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. Here's the reason why. The issue with doing student loan forgiveness right now or before the midterm elections is that people like seniors who were promised $200 a month for the next 2 years as some form of a Social Security boost, they get nothing. But so President Biden fulfills the promise of nobody making under $400,000 per year sees a penny more in taxes. He fulfills that promise. He fulfills the up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. He fulfills that. Third promise, $200 a month. Well, there's nothing there. So that could actually hurt Democrats in that case. Here's the other problem. Here's the flip side of that. If Democrats cannot get something big passed, and according to reports just yesterday, President Biden is likely to announce student loan forgiveness. Most likely, it's going to come in August. It's going to happen right around the time that the student loan payment pause expires. That's at the end of August. So keep that in mind, that there's a plan, that there's a greater plan in place than just forgiving student loan debt. The plan is what, according to reports, what it looks like as of right now is the plan is to try to buy votes for the midterm election. And the way you do that, sign an executive order to forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt. That could potentially work. So that's what's being discussed at this time. But again, there are some lawmakers that are pushing back against it because they don't like the way it looks, especially this close to an election. It looks like you're going to buy votes. The Republicans are already fighting back against it, so we'll see what happens there. Now, I do want to talk about one other thing, and that's monkeypox. Now, why do I want to talk about monkeypox? Mainly because monkeypox, right now, there's over 1,000 cases, okay? 1,000 cases of monkeypox. That's pretty substantial. There's even more suspected cases here in the United States in the past couple of weeks. Currently, there's more than 20 confirmed cases here in the U.S., which means the CDC is now raising their alert on monkeypox to level 2. Again, this is coming from the CDC. The CDC warns that the disease has been most prevalent among men who have sex with men. That's what they're saying. Interesting. And the CDC also recommends that you wear a mask while traveling. So, the reports go back and forth, but just understand, yes, cases are increasing. Now, the CDC says cases of monkeypox have been reported in Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Asia, and Australia. That's what they're telling us. Here's what we know. The CDC, okay, they will tell us information and give us, what they see, right? But again, they only give us half of the information. Now, I'm not here to, say the CDC is wrong. I'm not here to say that do not listen to the CDC. So I guess wear a mask when you're traveling if you want to. Just understand, cases are going to increase. We know that. The United States has already spent millions and millions of dollars to get a vaccine for monkeypox. They're already expecting this, preparing for this. Now, why would you prepare for something when most of the world is not worried about it? Well, because somebody is. Some people are worried about it. We already went through a pandemic. According to multiple virologists, they stated that COVID was only going to be a little blip. And then the next virus, the next pandemic, that's going to be worse. So could monkeypox be what is worse? Well, we don't know. That's something that we're going to have to find out, and we'll probably find out very soon. So as we get more information on what's going on there, I promise I'll fill you in on all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.